Most traders don't fail because the market beats them. They fail because their own mind betrays them. At the exact moment, discipline matters most. Let me take you into that battlefield, because every chart, every candle, every trade you've ever placed wasn't fought on your screen. It was fought inside you. And if you've ever watched yourself break a plan you promised you'd follow, if you've ever said, "I'll stick to the stop, this time only to move it the moment price touched it," then you already know the truth I'm about to share. Before we go deeper, I want you to ask yourself something. Why do I break rules I know would make me rich if I just followed them? Comment your thoughts below. I genuinely want to hear your story, because this documentary is not about charts. It's about you. Let's begin. I remember the first time I heard Jesse Livermore's most haunting observation. The game taught me the game, and it didn't spare me the rod while teaching. Those words didn't hit me like advice. They hit me like a confession. A confession of a man who knew the market didn't punish ignorance. It punished weakness. And that's why we're here. This video, this journey, this 2-section deep dive is about the most destructive truth in trading psychology. 99% of traders cannot stick to their own plans. Not because they're stupid, not because their strategy doesn't work, but because discipline collapses the moment pressure rises. I want to walk you through that collapse, slowly. So imagine this scene. You spent hours building the perfect plan. You calculated the risk, set the stop, marked the entry, and promised yourself, "This time, I will do it right." You entered the trade. Everything looked fine. Predictable. And then price dipped. Not a full reversal, just a flicker, a tiny red candle that whispered, "Are you sure about this?" Suddenly, your pulse shifted, your breath shortened, your stomach tightened like a knot pulled by invisible hands. Within seconds, the plan you crafted in logic was being rewritten by fear. You zoomed into the 1-minute chart, then the 30-second chart, then the 15-second chart, as if zooming in would magically produce comfort. Your brain screamed, "Get out now. Maybe move the stop just a little. Maybe re-enter later. Maybe this time is different." And there it is, the moment most traders lose the battle. Not because the market moved, but because you did. Jesse Livermore fought this war long before any of us had screens or indicators. He watched ticker tape. He watched human behavior more than price behavior. And he said something every trader should tattoo onto their soul. The desire for constant action is responsible for many losses. You break your plan because you crave relief more than you crave results. You crave certainty more than you crave discipline. You crave emotional escape more than long-term growth. That's why sticking to a plan feels impossible. Because your biology isn't built for trading. It's built for survival. And survival instincts inside the market are often fatal. Fear tells you to run from a good trade too early. Greed tells you to add more size when you shouldn't. Ego tells you to ignore your stop because you can't be wrong. Hope tells you to hold a loser because it might bounce. All of this invisible psychological chaos, is why 99% can't stick to a plan. And yet, Jesse Livermore found a way through it. Not because he was smarter, but because he understood something most traders never realize. A plan isn't a set of instructions. A plan is a contract with your future self. Break it, and you don't just lose money. You lose integrity. You lose belief. You lose trust in your own hands. And once a trader loses, they start chasing, forcing trades, revenge trading, switching strategies every week, desperately trying to escape the emotional mess caused by violating their own rules. That's the real failure point, not the loss itself, but the psychological unraveling afterward. And this unraveling, this downward spiral, is exactly what we'll break down in the next section. But before we go there, let me leave you with one thought, one truth that can change your trading forever. You don't rise to the level of your plan. You fall to the level of your discipline. You can have the best system in the world, but if your emotions override it, the system dies before it ever has a chance to work. In Section 2, I'll take you deeper into Livermore's mindset, the inner war modern traders fight daily, and the breakthrough rule that separates the disciplined from the doomed. But for now, pause, reflect, and tell me, have you ever broken a plan that could have saved you? comment below if Section 1 showed you why traders break their plans. Then, this section will reveal the deeper truth. The truth most traders spend their entire lives avoiding. You don't lose to the market. You lose to the version of yourself you refuse to confront. Let's step into that confrontation together. There's a moment in every trader's journey. A moment I've experienced. A moment Jesse Livermore lived through more than once, where you stop blaming the market, stop blaming the news, stop blaming volatility, liquidity, the spreads, the brokers, and you finally face the one enemy that's been with you from the beginning. Your own undisciplined self. It's uncomfortable. It's raw. It's a truth that strips away every excuse you've ever used to justify a blown account. But it's also the moment everything begins to change. Because when you look in the mirror and admit, I didn't follow my plan because I was scared, or I ignored my stop because I couldn't accept being wrong, you unlock the door that separates average traders from extraordinary ones. And it's a door very few ever open. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture a trader. Let's call him Daniel. Daniel is not reckless. He's not uneducated. He's not gambling. He knows technicals, reads price action, understands fundamentals, and journals his trades. He has a solid plan, but the moment he enters a trade, the plan begins to dissolve like paper in rain. Maybe you've been Daniel. Maybe you are Daniel. Price moves slightly against him. Just a normal fluctuation. But his mind interprets it as danger. His body reacts. Hands tighten. Eyes blink faster. Jaw pulse climbs. And suddenly, the trade isn't about executing a strategy anymore. It becomes about escaping discomfort. This, right here, this shift from logic to emotion, is the downfall of almost every trader who ever blew up an account. And Jesse Livermore knew it. He understood that the market's job was not to make you money. Its job was to test whether you were capable of making the right decisions when it mattered. He said, "A man must believe in himself and his judgment if he expects to make a living at this game." But the truth behind that quote is much bigger. You can't believe in yourself if you keep betraying yourself. You can't trust your strategy if you keep overriding it. You can't grow as a trader if you keep repeating emotional patterns that sabotage your progress. This brings us to the turning point, the emotional low point. Every trader hits rock bottom differently. For some, it's one catastrophic loss. For others, it's death by 1,000 cuts. For many, it's waking up one morning and realizing that every blown account had the same fingerprints: fear, impatience, revenge, impulsivity, hope, ego. These emotions are ancient. They are primal, and they were forged long before financial markets existed. Humans evolved to avoid uncertainty, to run from risk, to seek safety. But markets reward the opposite. The market punishes emotional reactions and rewards disciplined execution. This contradiction, this biological paradox, is why 99% of traders can't stick to their plans. It's not a technical problem, it's a neurological one. And here's where Livermore's greatest insight hits with full force. The breakthrough lesson. Jesse Livermore discovered that discipline wasn't something you feel, it's something you train, he said. After spending many years in Wall Street, and after making and losing millions of dollars, I want to tell you this: it never was my thinking that made the big money for me. It was my sitting. But sitting doesn't just mean holding a winning trade. It means holding your nerve, holding your plan, holding your principles when your emotions beg you to abandon them. It means building a system so strong that even your worst emotional day cannot break it. Livermore realized something modern traders still struggle with. A plan is only as strong as the trader who follows it. And that realization changes everything. How it applies to modern traders today. You have screens, indicators, order flow tools, algo systems, automated journaling, AI predictions, news feeds updated by the second. But none of these tools solve the real problem, because the problem isn't lack of information, it's lack of internal control. Most traders don't need a better strategy. They need a better self, a stronger self, a self that doesn't panic when the candle turns red, a self that doesn't double down out of frustration, a self that doesn't violate, stops because maybe this time it'll turn. Livermore would tell you the same thing he told himself. The game doesn't change Because human nature doesn't change. Technology evolves. Markets evolve. Tools evolve. But traders remain human. And as long as that's true, discipline will always be the dividing line between success and failure. Step: practical implementation. Let me give you the simplest roadmap, the one Livermore himself lived by. Step 1. Before you enter any trade, write down exactly why you are entering. Not after, not during, before. Step 2. Set the stop and target. Touch nothing. Not a pixel, not a tick, not a decimal. Step 3. Ask yourself, if I break this plan, what does that say about who I am becoming? Step 4. If emotion rises, step away from the screen. Distance restores logic. Step 5. Review daily, not your results, your behavior, because behavior is the real trading strategy. In the end, trading is not about predicting markets. It's about mastering yourself in a world where mastery is rare. If you want to be part of the 1%, the disciplined ones, the consistent ones, the ones who can look the market in the eye without flinching, then you must do what 99% refuse to do. Honor your plan. Honor your process. Honor the future trader you're building. Let me leave you with this final truth. The market will test you. It will break you. It will expose every weakness you hide. But if you stay disciplined, if you stay committed, if you build the psychological armor Livermore spoke of so often, then one day, the market won't scare you anymore. It will respect you. Tell me below, what is the one trading rule you struggle the most to follow? Be honest. The first step to discipline is awareness. This is your journey, your discipline, your transformation. And if you're still listening right now, then you're already ahead of most traders who quit before they ever understand themselves. Stay steady, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next story.